Burnley means to me true love, and true love means going through the bad times to get to the good times.
It's more than just a football club. You know, deep down, you've got Claret and Blue blood in your veins.
The football club is everything to the town. You know, they're really, really passionate about the football.
Most towns and major cities across this country, the football club is entertainment or a diversion or a hobby. Here, it is the town.
Elliott shoots! Oh, it's there! What a goal from Wayne Elliott!
Burnley are back. Back in football's top league after an absence of 33 years. During that time, the club hit the very bottom and almost went out of business. It's reckoned that victory in the Wembley promotion playoff in May was worth in the region of £60 million to the club. But to the supporters, who've stuck by their team in bad times as well as good, it was absolutely priceless.
I've followed Burnley Football Club for almost 50 years. I followed them from the very top of the league right down to the bottom. And in between times, to be honest, I've worried we'd never ever get back in the big time. Now we have. Every fan thinks their club is special, but there really is an incredible bond between the club, the town, the supporters. People love it. It means so much to them. I'm here to find out just why people are so passionate about this football club and what this promotion means to Burnley.
Burnley is a small town. Less than 90,000 people live here, but in the world of football, it looms larger than the great centres of population. One person out of every 4 in Burnley goes along to see the local football club in action, a higher percentage of the population than anywhere else in the country.
Rudzik, not a good clearance, and it's Burnley. Rubson with a chance, he scored! A goal in the first minute!
I wasn't born in Burnley, I was born in Keighley in Yorkshire on the other side of the Pennines. But back in the early 60s when I started to get interested in football, could have followed Leeds, could have followed Bradford, but no, there was only one club for me. In 1960, Harold Macmillan was Prime Minister. Eisenhower was in his final months as President of America. The Shadows were top of the charts, and Burnley the top of the league.
And it's the first one, a wonderful goal by Pointer, a wonderful goal.
When I first saw Burnley, we were reigning league champions. I used to stand right there with my dad, right at the front. Then we moved over to the B-hole end, and then eventually over there to the long side. It's a great ground, got a lot of memories. My dad used to tell me I saw Jimmy McIlroy play. To my eternal regret, I don't actually remember it. Jimmy McIlroy is, by common consent, Burnley's greatest ever player. A softly spoken son of Northern Ireland, he captivated the town in the 50s and 60s, and it captivated him. He's a genuine football hero from a bygone age who still calls Burnley his home. It's only right that he's got a stand named after him.
At that time, Burnley and Tottenham were the 2 leading top teams in England, and there were some wonderful matches. In fact, there were some times through the game I would think to myself, I wish I was on the terraces watching this football. It was so flowing and so lovely.
Oh, Pointer, lovely one out now to Harris. And a goal!
So what was it like being a Burnley player back in those days?
I lived about a mile from the ground, and I either walked or came on the bus. And of course, if you're on buses or you're meeting people, you get to know everyone. So it was like a family town. If you play for the team, you're one of the family.
Jimmy was once offered the chance to play for Sampdoria in Italy. A villa by the sea, a good school for his kids, a posh car and stacks of money.
I got on the phone straight away to my wife and said, how would you like to live in a villa overlooking the Mediterranean? And our first words were, what do we want to leave Burnley for?
So why this extraordinary bond between town and football club? Perhaps the Industrial Revolution provides a clue. As Burnley grew to become one of the world's greatest suppliers of cotton, the workers threw themselves into sport. the club switched from rugby to football, and in 1888, Burnley FC became a founder member of the Football League.
Years ago, it used to be cotton mills and mining and that, and the football team, you know. Now the cotton's gone, the mines have gone, so it's just a football team now.
The current resurgence in the team's fortunes has strengthened that bond more than I can ever recall. I went to Burnley's covered market to find out if the feel-good factor was still going strong.
People just talk Burnley. They talk it round old days. They come and look at these pictures. Oh, look at Ray Pointer and, you know, all these great players who've had it past, and it's fantastic. Even little old ladies at 70 and 80-year-old coming past.
They're all buzzing around this stall, the memorabilia stall, buying shirts from the Clarets stall at the top, yeah. They're just crazy, football crazy, they are.
I could safely say I've probably framed, 500 tickets, easy. I put the ticket in it, and then I put a programme in it. Loads of money.
You have 5 children.
Yeah.
Now, who do they support?
Before they support for Man United, right? And now they said, oh, it's our hometown in Burnley. And they all support now in Burnley.
Because everybody asks, where is Burnley? And now, because of the football and everything, it's like everybody knows.
When Burnley were one of the top clubs in the country, it was run by a bluff, uncompromising butcher called Bob Lord, a man, by all accounts, not to be crossed. Today, a rather more benign butcher has spotted a football-related marketing opportunity: sausages, named after the club, after our goalkeeper Brian the Beast Jensen, and after manager Owen Coyle.
So, naming sausages after players and things like that, does it make a difference to the business?
Oh, it does. Like the Claret Clouter, sold £1,000 of them. You know, that was the whole
was that because you labelled it like that and people said, I want one of them because of the football club?
Yeah. And then, of course, we had the Beast. You know, nobody wants a big sausage like that, so we cut it down.
A mini Beast.
And we made a mini Beast. So we sell a lot of the mini Beast.
Right.
And the Coyle Springers really took off now.
So you're basically just a spin doctor of meat, aren't you?
Is that what I am?
Yeah, that's what. Yeah. No, I could teach you nothing. You do it all.
I can now add to my CV, assisted butcher in making Claret Clouter sausages badly.
Right, are you going to do this?
I'll do whatever you tell me to do. I won't do it very well, though. So just press my knee on this thing.
Press your knee.
Right. And then... Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Just keep it going.
OK, I've got it, yeah. I'm doing all right, yeah.
All right.
I'm very, very impractical. So this is Mensa level for me.
And then what we do then? Make a sausage.
Yeah, you say make a sausage like that's an ordinary, natural...
Just an ordinary, yeah.
Right, like that. Right. And then where am I taking it? Under.
There.
Right.
That's it.
And then that one.
Yeah.
Oh, did you hear that? I'm trying very hard, she says. In other words, it's making a right hash of it.
No.
It's not good, is it?
Yeah, they'll be buying them tomorrow, these.
Will they?
Oh, yeah.
As made by a butcher's spin doctor and a real spin doctor. Growing up, I saw some of the greatest footballers in the history of the game on this pitch. Bobby Charlton, Denis Law, George Best, Jimmy Greaves, Bobby Moore. But I've always been a one-eyed fan. I only had eyes for the guys in claret and blue.
There's plenty of history in these narrow corridors, and though I've been to some very special places in my time, faraway palaces, offices of presidents and prime ministers, for a Burnley fan, there's a special excitement in being allowed into the home dressing room.
Well, how much has this dressing room changed since when?
Well, not a right lot for me, but I think the seats here instead of benches.
The benches.
The bath, that's still the same?
Much the same, the same soap and everything's
That's Fletcher, and Fletcher's got a chance here. That's Fletcher, and there's a goal.
Paul Fletcher and Martin Dobson are a crucial link between Burnley past and Burnley present. Both were top players who've returned to take up key roles at the club. They know what makes the place tick.
Playoff final down at Wembley, 37,500 people bought tickets to go down there, and they're clamouring outside right throughout, you know, and as we said, what's the population of Burnley? 70,000 to 80,000, and that's always been the same.
And I always used to think Burnley as a town was a massive place because the club was up there with the Tottenhams and the Wolves and all the big name clubs, and the internationals used to come from Burnley. I was amazed when I was transferred across to Burnley from Bolton Wanderers to find out it's more of a little village.
Does this football club matter more to this town than most football clubs matter to their towns?
The brand here is football. All the town follows the club. Everybody, and the town's very proud of that.
If the brand is football, then Rachel Brown is one of our best products. A Burnley girl, she's the goalkeeper for the England women's team. She's also a fanatical Claret.
No! I think Burnley Football Club is Burnley. If you are from Burnley, you support Burnley. If you're from one of the surrounding areas, you support Burnley. And, it is sort of the heart of the town, really, because everyone in the whole world watches the Premier League who's interested in football. So Burnley are in the Prem, and, hopefully it will spark a lot of positive things for the town as well as the actual football club. This is the lifeblood of Burnley, and I think the people are ready to pay them back.
To appreciate the current euphoria at Burnley, you need to understand how low we sank. After relegation in 1976, we just kept tumbling down the divisions. Those who witnessed it still bear the scars. Radio Lancashire breakfast presenter Tony Livesey has followed Burnley from top to bottom and now back again.
I mean, we talk about highs and lows in football, right? I came here thinking, I'll describe the highs and the lows. I struggle to think of any highs. I've got lots of lows. Playing Wigan when we were in the old second division and they were non-league, and they beat us 3-0, and I left that ground, their old ground, their non-league ground, with them singing "You're the rubbish of Lancashire" at us. And from that day on, they overtook us and we disappeared. And there was a time in '87 when we had to win our last game of the season to stay up. If the club had gone, the town would have gone. And that's not, I'm not being too dramatic when I say that. This town would have gone into a deep decline that it would never have come out of.
On the final day of the 1987 season, Burnley had to beat Orient to avoid falling out of the league into almost certain oblivion. Fortunately, we won 2-1. The second and crucial goal was scored by Ian Britton, a little guy with a head for the big occasion.
Do Burnley fans still recognise you, see who you are, know your place in history?
Yes, obviously when I come to the home games, I go into the foundation lounge and you still get people coming up and saying to you, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be in this position now. And it's great. It's still nice to be recognised. Obviously the young ones don't, but the older ones, the granddads, and that's the man that kept Burnley in the Football League, which is, it's a great feeling for myself anyway. It really is. It's not until after, when the final whistle goes and we knew that we were safe, it was a great feeling, because it'll stay in people's minds for a long, long time to come.
It's been quite a year for Burnley chairman Barry Kilby and his long-term partner Sonia. This summer, they finally tied the knot. The wedding came weeks after their grand day out at Wembley, and shortly before they play host to some of the biggest names in world football. Wembley, wedding, Premiership, quite a hat-trick.
Which of those three, in order, means the most to you? Barry first.
Obviously, Alistair, the wedding.
Yeah. And third?
Well, it's, getting to the Premiership's a real biggie. 37 years since we've been in there. So I've got to put that pretty high up. And Wembley's a means to get to it, obviously.
Without shadow of a doubt for me, Wembley, wedding, Premiership.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. How many women have gone on Wembley Turf Moor?
How worried are you that we're going to do a lot of losing next year?
None whatsoever.
No?
No. We've taken the money, boys, we're going to run.
When Barry Kilby joined the board in 1998, the club had managed to haul itself out of the bottom division, but was still a long way away from from where the fans wanted to be.
It's been a gradual progression since that real rock bottom in 87. The board that took over then did a brilliant job, I think, to get it where it was, but they were running out of steam by the time I came in, which was 98, 99, and it needed that boost of further funds to try and take it on.
In May 2000, I was with Tony Blair at peace talks in Northern Ireland, desperately watching the clock, praying they'd finish in time for me to get to a crucial Burnley game. Happily they did, and I dashed over to Scunthorpe to see us win promotion back into the second tier of the league on the final day of the season. I'm in there somewhere.
It was fantastic. It was great, you know. And it had a massive, massive effect on the town, you know, the feel-good factor. Everybody's got a smile on their face.
Stan Ternent was manager that day. Another former Burnley player who just couldn't get the place out of his system. He still lives on the outskirts of town. He also understands football rivalry. And in Burnley, that means just one thing: Blackburn Rovers.
What the topic of conversation was, more than anything else, which it is now, when do we play Rovers? Because that is the thing, to play Blackburn. So they were on an even keel again with them. And it was just marvellous. It's just a fantastic club. It's like home to me.
It broke Stan's heart to leave before he'd achieved promotion to the Premier League for Burnley. His successor, Steve Cottrell, didn't manage it either. But in 2007, with fresh money in the club from new director Brendan Flood, the chairman made perhaps the most important decision he's ever made.
Barry Kilby's masterstroke was appointing that man behind me, Owen Coyle, as manager. When he arrived in November 2007, lots of people didn't see it as an obvious choice. 18 months later, he led Burnley to the Premiership.
When I met Owen, he started to tick all the boxes, his enthusiasm come through. He was used to working with a limited budget. I thought he was a gentleman, but I could see a steel in him that I thought, this guy could do it for us, and luckily that's what's happened.
Coyle is from Glasgow, but he's been quick to appreciate just how important the club is to the people of Burnley.
The football club is an integral part of the town and the surrounding areas, and you only had to see that last year. I mean, it galvanised the whole area. And the thing about that is that then helped us in turn, because the fans were turning out, they were vocal. I mean, we had a terrific home record, and that'll be important this season again. And when it all comes together, I mean, it's a magnificent sight, and culminating in the Wembley final, I think you have to realise how important the fans are to the football club, because without fans no club would survive. It's very simple.
First he had a sausage named after him. Next, he was immortalised in pastry. Coyle, glorious Coyle.
I mean, it's all light-hearted banter, and I get plenty of stick for that, can I assure you, from a group of players, but I love that. You know, I'm not saying I'm the prettiest guy in the world, but I didn't think it did me a lot of justice, no. I mean, the artist did fantastic. To work with, you know, pastry, to come up with that magnificent sculpture, all credit to them.
The players too have been seduced by Burnley's peculiar charms. Wembley goal hero Wade Elliott joined us from Bournemouth and brought his girlfriend.
I guess she'd only ever seen like the North on Corrie, and she thought it was going to be whippets and cobbled streets, but she moved up, and the same as me, loves it. I really enjoy it up here. Everybody was great to me settling in, and probably shows in your football. But with the way things have worked out in the past season, it's probably the best thing I've ever done.
That special moment in May means that Elliott will be part of Burnley footballing legend forever.
I told my family I was only going to answer the £60 million man for a couple of days, but they soon knocked that out of me. It's like Greza said to me afterwards, he said they'll be wheeling you out for 25 years, opening tombolas and doing all sorts at the club.
But he'll still be playing.
Yeah, he'll be player manager.
Greza is Graham Alexander, 37, the oldest outfield player in the Premier League, who can't quite believe he's finally there.
First home game, Man United here for first game. That's obviously a massive one, you know, one of the best teams in the world. But, I think for local rivalry, the Blackburn game's obviously the big one. You know, we know it's going to be tough. It's tough for everyone in that division. But we're confident ourselves, like we were last year, to hold our own and do ourselves justice.
Turf Moor has been a hive of activity this summer as the club prepares for global attention. 700 seats have been replaced, over 500 VIP places added, the club shop, director's box and media areas have all had to be expanded. And the bars and lounges in the Bob Lord stand have been completely gutted. The chairman gave me the guided tour.
I mean, it was a bit Phoenix Nights, wasn't it, all around here now, so it's our opportunity now to upgrade it.
It's definitely going to be ready, is it?
That's right. Eh? Most modern grounds now have one big major stand with all hospitality, and then it's more or less concourse around the other three. Because we're an old ground, it's where it just sprung up piecemeal historically.
There's money to pay for it now, but prudence remains the order of the day. Barry Kilby will see to that.
I mean, it's a different world, but obviously you do get the increased revenues, but the players know that and they want their share of it. So we are in a different, different ball game, but and we'll have one of the smallest budgets in the division. I think we'll have the smallest, but we've got to husband our resources right and deal with it as best we can. It's a great opportunity for us to plan for the future as well, so I'm not going to waste it all on players. Things like, the things going on around here, around the stadium. We will, by the end of the season, be a debt-free club, totally debt-free, which is another, I think, something that we've always looked forward to here at Turf Moor. We can look people in the eye.
We know we're not Manchester United or City, Chelsea or Liverpool, and the club is determined that the things that make Burnley special will not be sacrificed. We'll play to our strengths.
Sometimes what people forget about football, it's a competition. 20 teams in the Premiership play against each other in a competition. Now, in a competition, you've got to come in this dressing room, you've got to take your kit up, hang it up on the peg and get out onto the field. It's not about staying in five-star hotels. Sometimes I think maybe the Premiership is too much about the money side of it. We concentrate on the football side of it. And it doesn't matter whether you have a palatial dressing room or you have wonderful baths. Get your kit out and get on the field. Let's see what you can do. That's what Burnley's all about.
This used to be the most basic press gantry in Britain, and I'm proud of that. I like everything to be basic here. Nobody should come to Burnley and have a good time, and that includes the press, the away team, the away fans, none of it. And that's the way it should stay for me. I don't go to this pampering business.
In town, the excitement is mounting. People are snapping up the new 1960-style shirt, specially designed to commemorate our last title win 50 seasons ago.
Do you wear the shirt all the time?
All the time. We've worn it since I got it. wear it out, wear it to bed.
Some people are going to even more extreme measures, as I discovered in a quiet back street close to the town centre.
I've got you under my skin.
So Gareth, why on earth are you having a club crest tattooed on your leg?
Basically, I'm a big Burnley supporter. Since the promotion, obviously, I wanted to have a Burnley crest done. So I'm hoping to get this done now. It'll be nice and healed, ready for the new season, and I can go on the turf and show it off.
Get your legs out.
Have you been surprised how many people have come in and got the club crest tattooed on the leg?
We did expect it all to go like this. Burnley fans are some of the most loyal fans, even when they're going through bad patches, but definitely since the promotion it has got quite crazy, really. The next day we had people coming in and asking for the Burnley badges, and it's got to the point where it's near enough one every day.
I wimped out. It's a transfer. Look at that.
As the big kick-off draws closer, we're back on the road. Even though it's only a pre-season friendly at Bradford City, I'm joined by thousands of others making the trek across the Pennines.
But you've got to admit there are more people here than there normally are for pre-season friendlies.
Well, it's quite an important match really to welcome the team back after what they did, see the new players, get the season going again, basically.
What does it mean to you that Burnley are back in the Premiership?
It's just excellent, and it's the best thing ever in my life, I think. I'd go along with that.
What, best thing ever in your life? That's quite a big statement, that.
Yeah, I think it is, yeah.
Everyone's been waiting for it so long, and now they've done it, it's all brilliant.
Meet the club's most extreme fan, Dave Burnley, who changed his name by deed poll when we were relegated from Division 1 in 1976.
The week after I went to the solicitors and changed my name for £8.75 as a show of allegiance to the football club and to show that I wasn't going to desert him, and really a show that I was marrying a football club. I was in love with the football club.
Dave even named his daughter Claret after the Burnley colours. If it had been a boy, it was going to be Ralph Coates Burnley.
And how does she feel about that?
She is proud of the name. She's Googled the name. There's no other Clarets in the country, and so she's very proud of the name, and it's got a feminine nature because we've added an additional T and E to make it feminine instead of claret, and so yeah, she couldn't be more proud of the name. Yeah.
You know, I had to get from Raleigh right up to Minnesota for the second game, and it took me 3.5 days on a Greyhound bus to get over there, so it's not easy. But
such is his devotion, Dave hasn't missed a game for 35 years and counting.
It's 1,494 league games since we got relegated, which have been to every one. And that's a true statistic if you look through your records. And that has been the hard times. Every position from 92nd to 1st I've seen Burnley Football Club. And now, hopefully, we are back where we truly belong.
There's a terrific reception for the team as we easily outnumber the home support.
Go on, Burnley!
There are new signings on display, but it's an old boy, Graham Alexander, who puts Burnley in front. Premiership beware, we specialise in spectacular goals.
All right, isn't it? Cracking goal.
But today is less about the result than giving the squad a run out after their summer break. We lose 2-1, but the fans are still singing.
It's not the best match, not the best result. But what is it about Burnley Football Club that almost 3,000 fans turned up today for a pre-season friendly at Bradford? That's more than we used to get for some league games back in the days when we almost went right out of the Football League. And I think it's about Burnley and the town, the challenges it's faced, some of the really tough times that it's had. When the club's doing well, the town feels better. It's also a link back to the glory days, and people are feeling that the glory days might just be back again. But this season's not about Bradford City. It's about our first home game, Manchester United, followed by Everton, Chelsea, Liverpool. Burnley are back.